Welcome to another edition of Cheers to Careers. I'm Steve Ridinghouse, the Career Outreach Coordinator at the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at KU.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheers to Careers. I'm Steve Ridinghouse, the Career and Outreach Coordinator of the KU School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Today we are joined by KU alum Payton Enzbrenner. Payton is the event coordinator at Outlier, and she is in Rogers, Arkansas. Welcome, Payton.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We were just talking a little bit before we went live here. You got this job pretty much right when you graduated in May of 22. Can you talk to me about that process and how you were able to get that job so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I lucked out. Coming right out of KU, I obviously was super grateful for all the real world experience I had, but knew that it was going to be tough to just find the job that I immediately loved. And I do feel really lucky. Everything kind of fell into place. My roommate and I at the time knew we wanted to kind of move out of the area, but didn't want to go too far. And she was looking at going to grad school at the University of Arkansas. So we were like, let's give Fayetteville a shot. And I applied for the job on LinkedIn and heard back within a couple weeks. And then have been down here ever since. So things moved quickly, but it's been great.
And what kind of events are you involved in? I think the LPGA, they have a big event there in Northwest Arkansas. And I think the motto of your company, like, no event is really too small. So do you do large events, small events, or what kind of events do you do?
Yeah, so our company is a full-scale event management agency. Primarily, we're in the golf space. So I think we have 15 different offices around the country and I think 10 different LPGA events on our portfolio. So we really do large-scale events, like professional events, and then we even do some like hospitality hosting. So, we'll do some sponsorship consulting, something as small as a, team outing for a sponsor on Friday through Sunday at a ski lodge or something like that, where we can just really bring an experience to life. And that's kind of another one of our mottos: every experience matters. So I think across all events, whether it's the large scale or maybe just if it's a food festival for a day, we kind of do a little bit of everything, which has been really great to get experience across the board.
How big is your team at Outlier?
So our company is about 60 people. So we're a relatively small company for the larger scale events that we do. And then here in Northwest Arkansas, there's about 10 of us full time. So we're definitely a small but mighty crew.
And like for every event, are you guys, your team, are you collaborating from start to finish, or do you have a lot of freedom in your role?
Yeah, I would say we kind of say as soon as we wrap an event, we're starting the next one. So I think in this office, we're, like I said, small but mighty. So we're getting to do a lot of different things, collaborating across the board. And then we're lucky too, we'll have different team members from all across the country come and join us the month of our event to kind of help execute it on site in those final moments. So I think across Outlier, there's so much collaboration that happens from across the country. And sometimes you're planning an event with people on 3 different time zones as you, and you just kind of have to figure out how to make it work. So it's been great to just continue to meet people and kind of grow my network across the whole country.
Can you identify some of those skills that maybe you've picked up at the journalism school that you apply in your event coordinating days?
Yeah, absolutely. I think something that's so unique, and I feel so grateful to have this experience, is I'm just thinking too of like at our capstone project in the J school right before you graduate, like you're presenting to a real client. So I was kind of learning those client facing skills while I was still in school, which now I am in a very client facing role. So that's something that I'm forever grateful for, that I really had that face to face interaction before I ever even got to the workplace. And then I think too, just like the collaboration portion of it. Obviously, on a team putting together such a large event, you're stepping in areas where, hey, this is my strong suit, so I'm going to take this. And I think that's really what you get in the J school specifically, and throughout any jobs I've had at KU too, is just really that teamwork and collaboration that comes to life so much in now my career, that at the time I don't even know if I realized I was getting those skills, and now I feel super grateful that I had those opportunities.
Have you had time to kind of think what's kind of your go-to strength when it comes to event planning? I mean, what do they count on you to do? I mean, we know Payton can deliver on this.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would hope that it would just be, I think something that's so important in events and obviously in the workplace is just dependability. I would hope that it's like, if we're going to give this task to Peyton, that means it's going to get done and it's going to get done well. Because I think taking that stress off of someone else's plate is something that's very important that maybe you don't think of in the time. So I would hope that's what my team says about me. Maybe I should ask them after this what I should have answered there. But I think that's something that I continue to strive to be better at each event.
And did you always kind of envision yourself having some sort of career like in events or sports? I know you spent some time with the game crew at the KC Royals and front desk at the Jayhawk Club. I had to look at your LinkedIn profile. I remember you were always extremely busy. Did you always have some desire to work in a sports theme type industry?
Yeah, I think in high school, so my junior year of high school, I job shadowed the athletic department at KU, and I got to come for a game and kind of watch the behind the scenes. And I thought, this is really interesting. I like how fast paced it is. I like how every day is different. Flash forward to freshman year at KU, I got a job for the Williams Fund working on game days. And that's when I really fell in love with it. And I was like, okay, this is what I know I want to do. And then I kept that job for all 4 years. At KU, and I knew coming out of it, I want to be on the event production side of things. If I can get in sports, fantastic. But if not, I loved the people I worked with and the game days and the ins and outs of it all. And so that's kind of when I was like, okay, this is what I'm passionate about.
I know you're at KU kind of during a strange time with COVID. I mean, do you kind of break it up pre-COVID and post-COVID? Because you're pretty much your freshman and sophomore year, I guess late in your sophomore year is kind of when the COVID happened, and that was a weird time where you pretty much had to get off campus. What do you remember about those 4 years? I mean, how did you kind of maintain that positivity during that time?
Yeah, I did. I definitely think of it as pre-COVID and post-COVID. And I know other folks my age will just remember, you remember where you were at that spring break when you found out and what apartment you were living in and who you were living with, and kind of feels frozen in time. But I feel lucky that I got to have my whole freshman year in the dorms and got to really get the full freshman experience. And then, yeah, sophomore year into junior year, it definitely, obviously it's unprecedented. So now looking back, now you're like, oh, I wish I would have done that maybe different. But I think we all just embraced it, and it felt, especially in the J school, as I was going into my junior year, you're starting to be in your classes that are, around your major. You're not so much in your prereqs anymore. And it just felt like we're all in this together. We all know that this isn't ideal. And, but I think we all felt supported at the time, in a school setting. And then obviously I feel lucky too that I got to finish out senior year and walk down the hill, and the national championship didn't hurt. So I still feel lucky that I got the full experience, even when that interrupted so much of the middle half of it.
I would guess, were you always a good time manager? Because again, I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and I'm amazed how much you were able to do while you were a student. I mean, is that something you kind of grew up with? You always knew how to manage your time, or what was your secret?
Yeah, I think, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I think, so I always grew up playing sports, right? So, it's like when you're leaving school at 4 hours out of the day, you just kind of have to figure out how to prioritize. And so whether I knew it or not at the time, I think I carried that with me into KU. And then, yeah, at your point, I tried to be as involved as possible. I tried to have a couple different jobs at a time and be part of clubs. And so I think you just learn how to prioritize. And that's something too that I think is such a transferable skill when it comes to my career, especially managing large events. And there's, a ton of moving parts happening at once, is figuring out how to prioritize what I know I can get done, what's in front of me, and maybe what I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention to. And so, yeah, I definitely think I learned that, whether I knew I was learning it at the time or not. I think I got to practice that and hone in on that at KU.
No, well said. And your experience with like the game crew with the Royals, was that during the 21 season, or what?
That was 19 into 20. So,
okay, so
yeah. So I got to do a couple events, and then I obviously didn't get to do the 2020 season. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but.
And I know I got to know you pretty well when you took the leadership role at the KU Ad Club. You really brought that back, because I know, after that year ended when 2020, we took us a while to kind of bounce back. What are your memories of like getting the Ad Club kind of back up to speed?
Yeah, I think one, I was like so grateful for the opportunity. That wasn't something I ever thought I was going to do, was like lead a club at KU. Like that just was like, there's no way. And I think you and I having the relationship we did helped a lot. I felt really supported by you. And I had a co-president at the time. And I think our goal was just to make life feel a little bit more normal going into that school year. So just getting it back on its feet. We had some fantastic alum that came in and did guest speaker portions, and so I'm really grateful for them to kind of get us back on track. And I know now it's just evolved so much and it's in such a great spot. So I feel really proud and really grateful to be part of that, even if it was just to kind of kick things back off after COVID.
In your experience with Ad Club or maybe some of your classes, has that helped with your role as event coordinator? I know you probably do some with sponsorships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and now in my role, I'm kind of in the marketing and communications role for the tournament specifically. And I mean, I use those skills all the time. Now I'm writing press releases and I'm remembering what we learned. And, there's so many times when I'm building decks or when I'm on Canva or when I'm, pitching sponsorship assets where you have to think, who's this demographic? What do we want to appeal to? And all of a sudden you're back in your capstone class sitting at a Starbucks on 23rd and you're like, okay, I know exactly what, So I all the time think back to how important those like real life, like I said, those real life classes are. And I use it every day, I would say.
How do you know, I've coordinated a few events, not to the level you have, but what's kind of a good sign like, hey, this event, we crushed it? I mean, do you have kind of a checklist when you know we did everything we were supposed to do?
Yeah, I think, first of all, obviously you want to keep your sponsors happy, the partners of the event, the people that make it run. And when they're happy, we're happy. But I think something too that we always say that's kind of funny is like, if you're at an event and you're not hearing anything, that's a great sign.
Yeah.
That means everything's running smoothly, no complaints. And so weirdly enough, I think that's kind of one of the markers is like, if you're watching the event come to life and it's just coming to life and there's no catch, I think is something. But and obviously you want the attendees, like in our case, anybody that's coming to one of our events, we just want them to leave happy. Every experience matters. So we always say, like, no matter who you're speaking to, no matter who you're entertaining at the time, just make sure they leave and have had a good experience.
No, it's well said. And I also think your attendees don't have to know about those things behind the scenes that might not be going as well as you'd hoped, or those little pain points where nobody else has to know that except for me. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, it's time for Fast Five. Just some questions built on your digital profile. If you could be in charge of one event, national, local, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Super Bowl, something like that? No.
Oof, that seems like a lot. I will say, now that I'm like working in events and I look back, I used to go to Late Night in the Fog every year since I was like 9. And looking back, I'm like, holy moly, but I think that one would be really fun. A one-night event, you know that you're kicking off something super exciting. You're the first thing people see for the season. So I've always had like an interest in that. Now that I kind of have a little bit of a taste of what that would maybe look like behind the scenes, I think that one would be super fun to execute.
Okay. You're involved with some golf events. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your golf game? I assume you learned the game at Lake Bunsey, maybe?
Oh, yes. My golf game, non-existent. Me trying to play golf, 3.
3. I'll take that. I might be a little below that. So, who was your first sports crush, team or individual? What was that first sports?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think Tyrell Reed. My family's from Burlington.
Okay.
That was my guy.
Okay, awesome. Good choice. What's your favorite or go-to social media app? What's that social media app you always have to check first?
Ooh, I would love to say my Kindle app, but that would be a big fat lie. I have to say TikTok. I know I need to get off of it. I know, but it's addictive.
And I know you said your senior year was kind of nice because you got to celebrate a national title. Where did you watch the title game, or where did you end up celebrating the game?
So we watched the last several games at Jazz House on Mass, which is not what you would think of, but it was amazing. And I will like be stuck in time forever at Jazz House. And then obviously went to Mass to celebrate, but it was amazing.
So that was convenient. Yeah. Being there already and just kind of spill out Mass Street. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Payton, I appreciate you taking some time to join us. This is our first Cheers to Careers trip to Arkansas, virtual trip.
Love it.
We were long overdue. But yeah, cheers. I think you might have a special KU journalism mug, I hope.
My
Awesome.
J School mug. Yep. Stauffer Flint mug.
All right, Payton, we'll keep up the great work. It's been great to catch up with you and stay in touch.
Likewise. Thanks, Steve. Great to speak with you.
Cheers.